Hello, my name is Debbie Lynn Toomey, Injury Prevention Coordinator for Tufts Medical Center, and I want to welcome you to the Falls Prevention and Stress Reduction for the Aging Adult. This is a very short promo video to let you know who is going to be my guest on May 11th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. On May 11th, I will have Officer Ryan Donnelly from the Quincy Police Department. Officer Donnelly, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Can you give us an idea what you do in the department and also what you plan to share with us on May 11th?
So my current role, I'm in a uniform now, but my current role, I'm currently assigned to plainclothes in a unit called the Anti-Crime Unit. What we focus on is quality of life issues throughout the city. We get sent to all parts of the city to handle anything from something small to taking suspects into custody. So pretty much we handle anything and everything that gets thrown our way. But what I'm going to share with you guys today is how to avoid being a victim of scams and fraud. So we'll start with fraud. The three main types that we're going to talk about are identity theft, credit card fraud, and check fraud, and how to prevent being a victim from that. We're also going to talk about different types of scams, lottery scams, phishing scams, where people try to get personal information from you, like a social security number or dates of birth or maiden names, things like that. Kidnapping scams, where people call up and say, hey, listen, we have your son here, give us $1,000 or he's going to get hurt. We'll talk about that. We'll touch on all those scams and all those potential frauds, tell you how to avoid becoming a victim and how to fix if you are a victim, the resources that we have available that we can share to try to rectify those situations.
Wow, that's going to be a very exciting program. So do you find with the during the COVID pandemic, are you finding more and more of those type of situations going on out in the public?
Well, so credit card and check fraud, it's pretty much happening all the time because, I've been a victim of credit card fraud myself.
I have too.
So it happens everywhere to everyone. Mm-hmm. We've seen a downtick in the other kind of frauds just because it kind of relies on people getting out. So like say the kidnapping one, for example, I've had a couple of cases where elderly people have called up, said, someone's got my grandson and they're going to hurt him if I don't give him money. During COVID, everybody's pretty much stuck inside or limiting movement. So there's not that many people out and about for that to be believable. It's like, oh, you got my grandson, he's sitting right next to me. So especially if we're quarantined together. But credit card fraud, check fraud, and identity theft has been going on, and we haven't seen a dip or increase in that. So it's pretty much just steady. It just happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you raised a very good point. During this pandemic, with social distancing, a lot of people are at home where they should be, right? Are you finding that there's always a positive and there's also a negative to those types of situations? Are you finding that there's a lot more violence, domestic violence, any type of abuse? Are you finding that as well happening more?
I mean, without looking at the numbers directly to see if there has been, just by listening to the radio, I mean, I think you come to the logical conclusion that if you're going to be stuck in a house with people for a prolonged period of time during a stressful situation, you're going to have more issues with that. I wouldn't be surprised if we do a study later on and find out that there was a substantial increase in, just arguments. A lot of people, when they think of domestic violence, they think of, a husband and wife fighting each other. The domestic violence calls that we have categorized in our computer system come from anything from a child not listening to the parent, arguing with the parent, to two spouses arguing with each other. That's how we code domestic or dove calls. So, I mean, it's only natural. I know my wife was stuck at home with my 4-year-old daughter for 6 months. Stressful. So,
stressful for your daughter or your wife?
I would say both. I would say both. We definitely noticed some behavioral changes with my daughter not being around her friends. And, it really kind of made us realize like, oh man, even at that young, it's very, very important for them to have a social structure.
Yeah,
So
definitely. It's really impacting people, both young and old, being in this type of a climate that we're living in right now. So,
Yep.
well, you know what? I am so excited to learn more from you on May 11th. And I want to invite the viewers there to definitely join us then. Again, it's May 11th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it's going to be via Zoom. We'll give you the meeting ID on the cover of this video. So Officer Donnelly, thank you so much for being willing to share with us your knowledge and giving us great advice and information to keep us all safe.
You're very welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, my name is Debbie Lynn Toomey, Injury Prevention Coordinator for Tufts Medical Center. Bye-bye.